and go into the Bimbo talk.
The
if you'd
Bimbo
like,
talk,
because
yes, Daddy, tell me more.
Because when Sapphire was here, we talked a lot about that, and that was her, and she was telling us telling me and the audience that that's kind of that is something, her persona that she's really developed as far as her focus, and whereas like how modeling was almost secondary to that.
Yeah, that's her shtick.
That's
like,
whereas
that's her thing.
It was with you, it was more like it seems more like you started modeling and then the Bimbo thing just kind of evolved.
Right. Like I didn't know I was like a Bimbo anything. Like, oh, you're like a Bimbo icon. And I really didn't know anything about this. I just like to shoot hardcore. Like that's what I wanted to be known for, like shooting hardcore porn. Like that's what I was going for.
Well, because you were around that time of like Summer Sin, who was another one that was around that time.
Right.
And Claudia Kialoa, and I'm trying to think of a few others. Angel G was another one, I think, around the like mid 2000s. I'm trying to think of the people.
Ava Devine was around when I was, shooting. So I just wanted to be like them. Like I wanted to be like an Ava Devine. Just to be like a really hardcore porn star,
with super massive boobs.
Right, with super massive boobs.
So when did you like start to kind of embrace have you embraced kind of the Bimbo thing? Okay, so when did you start? When did that happen?
In porn, because I realized at the time I was shooting porn, every girl was like being mass produced.
Mm-hmm.
They were all 5'7", 120 pounds. You couldn't gain any weight. You had to stay super thin and all long blonde hair extensions. Everybody looked the same. So I was like, you know what? I can't compete with these girls. So I want to put myself in a group.
Mm-hmm.
So my agent had suggested I go from 800 into the thousands, and he found a doctor who would do it.
Okay.
And so I did it because for my career.
So you start, so then, because we'll do the boob stuff specifically, but it was the boobs that got you there first.
Yes, it was the boobs that got me there first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and so then but you didn't identify then as a Bimbo initially though, right? Like you had the huge boobs, but you just had huge boobs.
I just had huge boobs. It really wasn't like the Bimbo movie. It was more the big boob movie.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a separate genre dedicated to it the way it is now.
Yeah, because Bimbos are almost a separate category of big boob model.
It's a totally separate category. Bimbofication, the bimbo fetish, all that stuff is totally different than when I was around. It wasn't.
No.
You were just a bimbo.
You just had super huge boobs, and that's it. You were all kind of in the same category.
And I was like slim and stacked. Score had more terminology for it.
Yeah, and that was really their early, like, before they started to shift a little more towards natural, like all natural boobs, but the whole like super slim and super enhanced boobs were like their foundation, as it were.
The founding boobs.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. So then, because how in your mind, how would you define a Bimbo then? Like what does that mean to you when somebody, like, if you were to explain to somebody what is a Bimbo, like how would you define it?
See, now, and I don't take it as any form of an insult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people may think, yeah, I had Bimbo brain. And I can use it as an excuse, but I
just call it a blonde moment.
A blonde moment. But I embrace it because I like the glamour.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fun stuff. I like dressing provocatively. I have my whole entire life since I'm 15. I mean, it's more troublesome now because of the size of my breast. And I live alone, or when I am alone, and it's dangerous. So I have to be more careful now,
Yeah.
And, but I mean, it has its own following, its own group. I mean, the fetishes, and I love the surgery. I love, studying all the girls' faces and, the lips and that. And, I love doing all these different changes and, horrifying my mother in the process. And
but it seems like you're still you.
I'm still me.
I mean, granted, I don't know who you were before, but it just seems like, the way that I'm listening to you and seeing you now, it just seems like that who you are hasn't changed. Like your look changes, but your character doesn't.
No, like I'm still I'm down to earth. Most guys say I'm really down to earth, but when I'm in shooting, I'm in shooting mode, and it's totally different. It's very different. And that's just that's not a character I play, but that's who I like to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's hard for me to date, because how do you transition? Be like, who are you supposed to be? So you just end up laying there, not saying a word, nothing. You don't move, you don't do anything. You're
yeah.
And this girl said she did porn.
Right. Yeah. So then, what is it that you love about? Like, why do you love to be a bimbo then?
I love the attention.
Okay.
I do. I love the attention. I love because I'm older.
Yeah.
I'm no spring chicken. And so the fact that at this age, I'm able to garner all this attention is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
I had no social media whatsoever, nothing. So at 33 or 34, I opened up an Instagram page. I didn't even know how to use it.
Yeah.
A Twitter. I just found out about TikTok not that long ago.
Yeah.
So, it was to have all these followers and everything was incredible to me, after all this time. So, and to know that there's a whole culture out there and I wasn't the only one, there were so many big boob girls out there and, and they kind of stick together. They're really not as catty as the other groupings of women are.
Well, because you're all linked in a unique way because having super huge boobs kind of puts you in this category because, not everybody, there's a lot of women that have big boobs and that they're, maybe 400 cc's or 600 cc's or whatever, but you're in that stratosphere of over because you're over a certain size that very few around the world. So it's like you all kind of know what it's like to be in that world.
Yeah.
To have the clothing and to have the attention and to be a part of that. So I think it makes it so it's almost more like it's better to stick together because there's not too many of you out there. I wish there were more. Personally, but obviously it's
I wish there
dependent.
were more support groups.
I wish but yeah, if the super huge boob sorority could be bigger, that'd be nice. But because have you heard of Barbiecore, where it's like it's basically it's a culture of like people that are super fans of like Barbie and stuff. And so it's like they wear all pink and they have all that stuff, which I think Bimbo and Barbie aren't necessarily synonymous to each other, but I think there was a lot of overlap with that. So like when the Barbie movie came out 2 years ago, with Margot Robbie, it's like there was a lot of, stuff that played into that.
We have a lot of adult Barbie stuff in our apartment.
Okay.
So, my whole room is pink glitter wallpaper. I have like the Juicy Couture, like the, all the cheesy stuff, all the pinks, all that stuff is all over the place in my room.
Well, and I think that, have people ever said you have like a Barbie body to you in terms of like, because, she's got her dimensions, they always say are a little.
I've been told I'm petite.
Okay.
I don't really hear Barbie body. I hear I'm very petite
okay.
because I don't really have hips, or much of anything else going on.
It's all up there.
It's all up here.
It's all up there. Yeah.